So, when you think of Porsche, you don't really think of electric at the same time, do you? This could be why they only have one electric car for a very long time. Well, this is going to change with the introduction of an all-new electric Porsche Cayenne and Boxster in the future, as well as this car. This is the new Porsche Macan Electric. This will sit alongside the regular petrol Macan, so let's have a look to see what this new version is like. Hello everyone, welcome to Everything Cars and More. This is the #1 place to be for car news and reviews. Sit back, buckle up, let's go. So, to start with, the new Porsche Macan Electric takes a lot of its styling cues from the electric Porsche Taycan, with its slim upper headlights, and these house 4-line LED daytime running lights, just like the other Porsche design language. Lower down on the bumper we get what look like these big side vents, but actually most of this side vent is a headlight. They are actually almost hidden, which I do quite like as it makes it look very discreet up front. The lower central air vent is also quite big and also opens and shuts depending on if you need more range or cooling. Moving around to the sides of the new Macan Electric, and this is where I'm not too sure about the design, if I'm very honest with you. To start with, the overall silhouette isn't the best looking that I have seen from Porsche. I don't know if it wants to be a normal SUV or a coupe SUV. This design is sort of in between and I'm not sure if it is the prettiest I've seen. Anyway, it is growing on me, but it could be better. As usual with Porsche, we get a classical minimal design, and on this model we get some matte black cladding around the wheel arches and lower sill, as well as a black panel just like the older petrol Macan. Moving around to the back, and this is where we can see a squatted design which I'm again not sure about. Personally, I do think the Cayenne Coupe does look better, and I also think they should have taken that design inspiration from that car. We do get the usual light bar though that other Porsches have, as well as a black bar housing the Porsche lettering that you can have in blue for electric by the way, and it also houses the tail lights. The lower bumper looks very similar to the Taycan, which I don't mind, and the overall design is definitely a Porsche design. Right, let's have a look and see what battery and motor options you can have with the new Porsche Macan Electric. Right, so the Porsche Macan Electric has 4 different models to choose from. Let's start with the base model first. This is called Macan, and this uses a single motor rear-wheel drive unit which has 360 brake horsepower. This can do 0 to 62 in 5.7 seconds. This is mated to a 100 kWh battery pack, giving this car 398 miles of range, which is quite decent. The next version is called Macan 4. And as you may be able to tell, this uses a dual motor setup creating 4-wheel drive and 408 brake horsepower. This reduces the 0 to 62 time down slightly to 5.2 seconds, and it still retains 100 kWh battery pack, giving this car 380 miles of range, which is still very decent and will most likely be the popular option. The next version is called Macan 4S, and this again uses a dual motor setup, pushing the power up to 516 brake horsepower. This also reduces the 0 to 62 time down to 4.1 seconds and giving this car a 377 mile range using the same 100 kWh battery pack. The final version is the top of the range Macan Turbo, and this uses a dual motor setup creating 4-wheel drive and a huge 639 brake horsepower. This reduces the 0 to 62 time down to even further with a 3.3 seconds, and the range is still at 367 miles using the same 100 kWh battery pack. The price of the new Porsche Macan Electric starts at £68,500, which actually isn't that bad considering it is a Porsche, and it is electric. Right, let's have a look and see what the interior is like. So climb inside the new Macan Electric and there is no surprise as it feels like a typical Porsche. To start with, we get a 3-screen setup like other new Porsches. In front of the driver we get this curved digital instrument cluster which has very crisp graphics into it. They are also very customisable and easy to read. In the centre we get a 10.9-inch infotainment system which has Porsche's latest software. This is similar to the older software, but this one is more intuitive and has a better layout and is also slightly easier to use too. You can now also get an optional 10.9-inch screen for the passenger which runs similar software too, but this is an option. To be honest now, with how some passenger screens are integrated, this one is the best one. For example, if the passenger doesn't have a screen, it doesn't matter because you wouldn't really notice in any way. Take the new Audi A5 for example. If you don't have the screen on, it looks like that it hasn't had an added option. The centre console is clean looking and minimalistic with your climate control switches and a few other important switches too. You also get some storage which is quite good. The steering wheel is the usual Porsche steering wheel, so it is minimalistic and modern looking. Finally, the seats are taken from the Porsche Taycan, so you know they will be comfy yet supportive. Overall then, a true Porsche inside. Let's have a look and see how practical enough it is for a family in the back, as this is why you would buy a Porsche Macan. So, climb into the back in the new Porsche Macan, and practicality sadly isn't the best. Whilst an adult can fit in the back with okay legroom, because of the sloping roof, the headroom isn't the best and it gets worse if you opt for the panoramic sunroof. Also, if you have these Taycan seats, they limit the legroom more too, over the other seats. You do get some creature comforts though which tries to make up for this, though, which include your own climate control system, air vents and an armrest. Overall though, for adults on a long journey it won't be great, but for small adults or children it should be okay, as there are outer isofix points. Right, let's have a look at the boot. So, opening the boot to the new Porsche Macan, and you are welcomed with 540 litres of space with the seats up. Bear in mind though that if you have the turbo model, this does decrease down to 480 litres. If you fold the seats down, then this increases to 1,503 litres, and on the turbo model, this is 1,288 litres. On the Porsche Macan Electric, you also have a front boot at 84 litres, and this is perfect for your charging cables. Porsche is well known for making their front boot, so it is nice to see that the Macan Electric has one. So, in summary then, what do I think of the new Porsche Macan? Well, whilst the design isn't the best on the outside, it is definitely different and it may not be to everyone's taste. There is no denying though that this is a great electric SUV from Porsche, and considering its decent price it is well worth looking at if you want a practical premium high-end SUV. Yes, in areas it could be more practical, but there will be a bigger Cayenne electric coming out next year which will be more practical and take that space. For the price with what you are getting though, it is well worth a look. If you like this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next video.